Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. First of all, in today's video we are going to be recording in Blender 2.9, so please download the latest version. In today's video we are going to learn about adding basic objects to the scene and applying basic transformations. So let's get started. As you can see over here in the scene, we already have a cube placed with the camera and the lighting as we discussed in our first video. And if you haven't watched the first video and the second video already, please do watch it. And if you learned something from it, hit the like button. Thank you. Now coming back to the topic. We have a basic cube set up in the scene already. First, let's see how we can delete all of these. So the shortcut for selecting all of them is pressing A. Now as you can see, after pressing A, all the objects got highlighted. Let me also turn the screencast keys on. Now by pressing A, you can see that all the objects are getting highlighted or selected. Now if I press Alt A, you can see all the objects got unselected. So this means by pressing A, you can select them all, and Alt A will unselect them all or deselect them. Now that you know that, we'll see how we can delete these objects. Now I'll press A, it will select all of them, and then I'll press X. It will ask me if I want to delete or not. So obviously I would want to delete it, so I'll press the enter key. Now all the objects are deleted and now we have an empty scene over here. To confirm that, you can go over here in the right and see that the collection, there's nothing under that, which means that the viewport is empty right now. Now how do we add basic objects? To do that, we can press Shift plus A. This will prompt us to a menu bar which will have many options. For now we will only look at the very basic ones, which is the mesh options. So the mesh options has some very basic objects. First is plane, which is like a 2D plane. Then is a cube, then circle, UV sphere, icosphere, cylinder, cone, torus, and the default monkey obviously. First we'll start by adding a plane in the scene. As you can see, as we selected that plane, a plane got added in the scene as well. Now as we know that the plane is 2 by 2 units, and we can confirm by seeing the grid over here. One grid is 1 unit. So now there are 2 grids wide and 2 grids long, which means that the plane is 2 by 2 units. But the units won't matter that much for now. We'll basically look at the transformations. If you have watched my previous video, you would have known about scale, rotation and move, but I'll again tell them very quickly. So S will scale the plane and escape will undo that command. Now if I press G, G will move that plane, and if I press escape again, which means that the command has been cancelled. Now to rotate that command, I can press R and it will rotate. Now similarly, if I want to scale along a particular axis, I will press S and then press the axis I want to scale it along. The same will apply to R and G. To learn this in detail, please go to the previous video and do watch that. For now, I will scale this over here up to a random amount. Now let's add another object. So last time we added an object by pressing Shift plus A. This time let's see the other option. Over here in the top you can see add. Shift plus A is basically the shortcut for adding an object in viewport. Or you can directly go over here and click the add button. I will go to the mesh and add a cube for now. As you can see, the cube is basically at the center of the scene or at the origin. That is why it's intersecting. You can't see the other half is beneath the plane. To confirm that, we can hit 1 and we will go to the front view. Now this is a new shortcut, please remember this. If we press Z, it will prompt us to a pie menu which has particular options. We go to the wireframe mode. So what is a wireframe mode exactly? Wireframe mode is that whenever you are in wireframe mode, you can see the outline of that object but not the solid mass. Now if I again go to the solid view, you can see it's solid right now. Going back to the wireframe mode means that now you can see through it basically. So in wireframe mode, you can see that this line is a plane and this square is actually the cube which is intersecting through the plane. Now I will press G, which is the shortcut for move command. Now the object has been highlighted. I will press Z because I want to move it along the Z axis. And now I will move it along. I will press it on the plane. Now if I go to Z and solid mode and change the view, you can see the cube is now on the plane and not intersecting it. Similarly, we can add other objects by pressing Shift plus A, going to the mesh option, selecting UV sphere for example. Now again you can see the UV sphere is basically inside the square. To confirm this, we can again go to 1, press Z, go to wireframe and see that UV sphere is basically inside of it. We can move it out by going to another view. I'll go to solid view again, press G, press X this time. The axis will be highlighted and then press again. Why am I pressing the axis key along with the G command again and again? This means that the object will move precisely along that axis and not randomly in 3D space. To give an example of that, let me press G and move it. Now if I try moving it along x-axis, you can see it's not snapping to it. Basically, even if I'm moving it in that direction, it might be moving in a completely different direction. For instance, let's see this now. It might look like it's in the x-axis, but the axis has changed. I'll go to the front view. You can see it was supposed to be somewhere over here, but it has gone beneath the plane completely. So that is why it's important. Now Control Z or Command plus Z will undo that command. So we have brought the sphere to where it was originally. Now this time if I press G and then press X, you know that it will be snapping along the X axis and we can move it precisely. Now to bring this sphere upward, please guess the command. I think you guessed it right. It is G, then I will press Z and it will move. Now over here you can see that how do I know if it's intersecting or not? To do the very easy method for that is you can quickly go to the front view, go to wireframe mode and confirm. Over here I can place them very precisely. That is why going to views and placing objects precisely is the key in Blender. Now we'll add a third object. We'll press Shift plus A, go to the mesh and this time let's add a cylinder. Now again this time I'll move it along Y axis. So I'll press G, then I'll press Y, then I'll press G and then I'll press Z. I'll go to 3 and I'll see that the cylinder is actually in air, so I can press G again and then move it along so that it is roughly almost on the plane. Also you can see the cube is also roughly in air, so I will press G and then press Z and bring it over here. So we have added 3 basic objects for now, and as you can see them, they look pretty good. So now that we have seen how to scale them, move them, let's see how we can rotate them. So first I'll bring a cube again, and this time I'll press G, then press X. I'll go to the right view over here, or the front view over here, and then I'll press S, and then I'll press X, which means that it is scaling the object only along x-axis. Let's see it in another view to get a better hang of it. This time I'll press S and then I'll press X, which means it's scaling only along the x-axis and the y and the z-axis remain constant. So now that I've done that, cube has been converted into a cuboid. So whenever you are modeling advanced stuff in Blender also, you need to remember that most of the advanced stuff starts from something very basic and then it can be altered. So if you can see an object and figure out what the basic shape would be, you can actually get to that mesh you're wanting to. So I'll go to the front view and this time it is currently oriented along X at 0 degree, which means there is no rotation to it right now. Now if I press X and then I press X, you can see it's rotating. I'll show that to you in another view. Now if I press R and then I press X, which means it's rotating along X. Now if I want to rotate it along Y, I'll press R and then Y. To see that better, I'll go to the front view again. As you can see, it moved, but I'll show you again. I'll press Command Z to undo the button. I'll press R and then I'll press Y. Also, as you might remember, that you can also set the rotation degree, and to confirm that, you can go to the top left button over here. Now I'll press R and I'll press -45, which will give an accurate rotation of 45 degree in the negative direction. So now we have finally rotated this cuboid. We can place this cuboid over here in the scene. So I'll press and move it over here. To get better view of the scene, you can also go to the top view. Now this time you can see that in the scene currently, I want to rotate it, but only on the Z axis. So the easiest way to figure that out would be press R, then press Z and then move it. But as you can see, I'm not comfortable with it right now. So for that, I'll go into top view, then press R, then press Z. As you can see, it is so easy for me now to figure that out. See, it was that simple. So you need to know that what view you want to go, and then from there you can resize it, transform it easily, and it will get better from there. And initially, if you don't get the views right, or the rotation or the scale is going off, it's okay because it's your first time. But with practice, it'll get better. But do not forget to switch views quickly to move that object precisely and without undoing a lot of times. For today's video, we'll keep it to this, as we discussed a lot about the axis, movement, views, rotation, and scaling them. I'd want you to try this composition over here. Also, you can try something new. I'll leave a link of an image in the description below. I hope you learned something new from this video today. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, hit the bell notification icon for latest updates, and guys, do not forget to share it with your friends and other SketchUp users who are wanting to learn Blender for a long time and were not able to do so. Thank you.